Well, Representative Omar, is this your first bill?
In general?
Yeah,
No, third, fourth.
third. You're getting me an old hand at this.
Just a little, just.
I will move House File 1645 be brought before the committee and laid over for possible inclusion.
Thank you so much, Chair and committee members for the opportunity to present this bill. Today, I'm asking for a small appropriation to the Somali Museum of Minnesota. And before I have my testifiers jump in and tell you a little bit more about why this is really important, I wanted to give you a little overview on why I brought this this bill forward. The Somali Museum is the only institution in Minnesota and all of North America, if not anywhere outside of the U.S., outside of Somalia, that is devoted to preserving and celebrating Somali art, history, and culture. The Somali Museum shares the Somali culture with communities across Minnesota throughout the following heritage arts and cultural vitality programs: traditional dance, nomadic weaving, traveling exhibitions, and presentations. And there's a wonderful celebration that has about 10,000 to 20,000 Somalis come together for the Somali Museum anniversary celebration each year here in the Twin Cities. These programs bring communities together to share this heritage across Minnesota, in Wilmer, in Rochester, in St. Cloud, in Mankato, in East Grand Forks, the Twin Cities, and different suburbs within Minnesota and near the Twin Cities. I first came to hear about the Somali Museum through my children, who visited because there was a school field trip, and they came home and asked why I have not taken them to this museum before. And since then, I've been devoted in making sure that this beautiful museum gets the notoriety and the celebration that it deserves. And so I'm going to hand it over to the executive director of the museum to share a little bit more about the museum.
Would you
Thank
give
you,
your
Ilham.
name for the record, please, so people will remember you were here 50 years from now?
Chairman and the committee members, thank you so much for having us today here. And my name is Osman Ali. I'm the director, and I'm the founder and the executive director of the Somali Museum of Minnesota.
How much money?
This museum has been found 2011, and in 2009, I started to collect the first artifacts. And I traveled, it was my first time to travel to Somalia, 2009. And it's the first time I make the first collection to this museum. And since then, I was traveling each year to get more artifacts. The reason is I start this museum just to educate the young generation who born and raised here in the United States, as well as the non-Somalis who want to know more about the Somali culture. And as we know that Minnesota is the home of the largest Somali immigrant in the United States. And that's why we make the museum here in Minnesota, and that's why we build bridges that connects the youth with their family, using the artifacts as a tool to educate them with their traditional and cultural heritage. And at the same time, we are building bridges that connects the Somali community to other neighborhood communities to learn from each other. Once they learn from each other and each one knows the other's culture, then they came to a good environment that they can understand each other and they learn from each other, so that they can live in a good environment based with love and peace in between them. And that's why the museum is doing a lot of activities here in Minnesota and outside the state as well. And at the same time, we are offering a lot of programs through the museum. One of the programs is presentations to all neighborhood communities, to all schools, charter school, public schools, hospitals. Nurse and doctors comes and take presentation and class with the Somali culture. Social workers, government employees, construction companies, all those who want to know more about the Somali culture, they come to the museum, or we go to them and represent a presentation about the Somali culture through the artifacts that we have, and using that artifact as a tool that to educate the people with this traditional, culture. At the same time, we have a mobile show that goes from place to place, all the locations that Ilhan Omar mentioned, Rochester, Menkero, everywhere. We never hesitate to say no, whoever call us for culture and understanding between the communities, because we are making kind of integration between the communities to understand each other and work together. And as you know, that Somali community, they are always isolated, so that I will try my best to make them integrated with other communities, to learn from each other, to make friendship and peace in between them. At the same time, we are working with nomadic weaving classes that provide class to all Somalis and non-Somalis. And that goes for the last 4 years. And at the same time, we have classes, traditional dance classes. We have over 18 students from high school and college practicing and learning that dance and teaching other young generation from the schools when they come to the museum. It's overcrowded because of how they like this culture. And the good thing on that, their parents send the kids to the place instead of going somewhere else, and they gather them to the museum. At the same time, we gather the young generation at the age of 6 to 14 and make storytelling. Legend people come and make storytelling for these kids and educate them and tell them how back of the days the Somali kids behave and act with their families, how they respect them, how they treat with them. At the same time, how they will act and treat with the other communities they are living with. And that's, we're gonna help kind of discipline that the kids will work with the community and learn a lot of traditional things that their parents used to use it. At the same time, we go through all schools, public schools, charter schools, we give traditional classes. Sometimes the class, there's no Somalis, but the school who decide to have this kind of culture, they want to know more about the Somali culture and who are these people. This large immigrant population coming to Minnesota, who they are and what's their culture is based on. We teach them and educate them with that culture. And stop them wherever the Somalis think that it's an insult or it's not a good thing to them, which is not something bad from the other community, but it's a kind of culture. So that kind of understanding makes the things work for us. And we do have celebrating cultural event every year. From year to year, the audience become more and more. And that shows how people like the culture and how they get involved with. The elders like to just remember back of the days how they used to work, how to dance, how to do things. And it's kind of educational program for the youth to learn something from that culture. And that's how we are going through all Minnesota-wide, and we never hesitate and we never stop from school calling us from a long distance, even though they don't have funding for that expense. We pay it from our pocket to go and spread the word and let the people know who are these people and their culture. Thank you so much for listening to us, and I hope you have a folder and from the Somali Museum. It's a nice folder and a lot of good pictures in it, and a lot of things is there. If you look at the pictures, you're gonna see the activities that we are doing, and I hope you're gonna carry everything with that folder, and it's gonna be the top of your files, that folder. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your testimony.
Good evening. My name is Ingrid Nyholm. I'm from the American Swedish Institute, and it is my pleasure and really a very proud moment for the American Swedish Institute to be able to be here and testify on behalf of our colleagues at the Somali Museum of Minnesota. As many of you probably know, the American Swedish Institute is a museum and a cultural center, and we are in the Phillips West neighborhood in Minneapolis. Very soon, we'll be having our 90th anniversary. And so we have been, if you will, we are the old immigrants around the neighborhood. And it is an absolute pleasure for us to be able to work with so many of our new immigrant groups. ASI believes very strongly in the cross-cultural partnerships that we have, and one of our better partnerships that we do have is actually with the Somali Museum. As we know, the population of Minnesota is only growing ever more diverse, and we truly believe that it is only through learning about each other's cultures that we can progress as a society. The more we know about each other, the better it shall be for all of us. Museums are a really unique spot. Museums are able to serve as kind of a common ground quite often. It's a place for families, children, our general visitors to really have the opportunity to explore and to understand other cultures, and to really begin to explore the cultures other than our own. The Somali Museum is actually a fantastically run professional organization. They are highly respected by museums and other ethnic groups here in the Twin Cities and in Greater Minnesota. And just as an example of how sometimes a really wonderful cross-cultural partnership can work, we have been able to work together, serving kids here in Minneapolis, whether they be of European heritage or of East African heritage. And for students especially who've had little to no exposure to museums, some of the exposure that they've had in those kind of traditional large museums, they don't see themselves there. They don't see themselves necessarily at the Minneapolis Institute of Art or at the Science Museum. But what they do see is people that don't look like them, heritage that doesn't sound like them. We were able to partner together and put together a program whereby the students have been able to explore this idea of the historical trajectory of immigrants to the United States, and in particular to Minnesota. We were able to look at, if you will, the old Swedes, the old Swedish immigrants, and then have the students really have the opportunity to take pride and have this kind of sense of wonderment. Then when they go to the Somali Museum, they walk in there, they see themselves there, and they're very proud of an institution that shares their culture with everyone around the state. So we're just here to support our colleagues. We think they're doing a fantastic job, and we hope they're able to do that much more in the future. Thank you.
Can't wait to tell my wife about that.
Good.
She came from Camden area. Representative Murphy.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Can you tell me that if the people that testified earlier today, the people that are running the Kazoo program, do they come to the museum? And do they participate in the programming of the museum?
Actually, those who came today, they were a coalition, a new organization that has been established, but Kachog as an organization by themselves, they do work it with us couple times, and we did the Somali Independence Day together, and we have a big part on that, and they have the other big part of that, so we were working together on that. So they came to the museum, and we worked together with couple programs.
And Mr. Chair, sir, how do people in the Somali community, wherever the Somali community is, learn about the programs that you have at the museum?
Good question. They learn through the media, through the radio stations, TV stations. We have a lot of local TV stations and radio stations. We use the Facebook website, all that. At the same time, the Somalis, it's very quick how they spread the word within no time. If somebody says something, today hundreds can know that. At the same time, we have a lot of activities and programs that we share with the community. That's how they see us. In every spot, there is a traditional dance, there is a weaving classes, there is a mobile show, there is a, lot of activities through the museum. So when we are in every spot, the only those who doesn't know us is those who don't come outside and those who don't listen to TVs and radios. That's it.
Mr.
Chair, Representative Murphy, the one thing I think that I mentioned earlier, and I don't know if you were in the room, is that the museum is the only museum, the Somali museum that exists in Minnesota, in the country, and probably in North America. And so Somalis all over the United States come here to visit the museum. And Somalis, all over North America come here to Minnesota to visit the museum. All of the schools get a package about the museum, and so they come out and do field trips there. That's how I found out about the museum, because my children ended up going to the museum for a field trip. And so there's the difference between an organization like Kajok that might do an art show or a play here and there, and a standalone museum that will exist and people can come anytime they want and experience the culture, and it's not a program that is passing in time. It's very different, and so that's what makes the museum very different than the programming that Kajok was talking about earlier.
I knew that, but I was trying to get if there was some relationship. But Mr. Chair, especially with the testimony from the Swedish Institute, this is something that we talked about at the very beginning, about how things could work out and work together, and people that were here before and new people coming in would learn from each other, and it would carry on. And that was one of the things that we wanted to see what would happen. And this is obviously an excellent representation of that kind of thing. And I want to know how long the museum has been in existence?
Since 2011.
Since 2011.
But the first collection started 2009, and I was from 2009 to 11 mobile show on back of my track, going from location to schools and neighborhoods. After that, we opened the museum in 2011. 11, we were established after that.
Okay, and you're going back to Somalia to get the artifacts?
Absolutely.
And so, do you have regular sources of artifacts coming in at all times, or do you have to go and seek them out and find them?
Every year I go, I collect, and sometimes I can't go, and just whenever they tell me there is this kind of artifacts, then I order, I pay for it, then we ship it. Now, on the way, it's gonna be 114 items, and plus another 20, maybe 30, but 130 plus items coming on the way from Somalia to Dubai. From Dubai, it's gonna be shipped to New Jersey, from New Jersey to Minnesota, and that all is we had a lot of exhibits in Minnesota, different libraries, different neighborhoods, different museums. So this year, coming year, 2018, we will have the biggest exhibit in the Historic Center. And we'll display over 300 items, plus traditional hats, organic from back home, where the Somalis live in the bush is gonna be there. And that's what we're gonna do next year, and we are working on it right now. We are partner with a lot of museums, with a lot of organizations, cultural organizations, especially Historic Center, and a lot of them.
Thank you so much. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other testimony?
Just I want to say thanks for all those representatives who signed this bill. Ilhan Omar was the author, the co-authors, Paul Tyson, Karen Clark, Leon Lilly, Dario Anselmo, David Baker. Thank you so much all, and all the rest who is not in this list and supporting us to get this done and helping this unique organization and museum to move from the level that we are to second level. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. Any questions from the members? Seeing none, I will renew my motion. Would you like to make a closing statement?
Yeah, I just want to, emphasize what Osman said. This is an important investment, and we invite all of you to come out and see the museum at some point. There's a great collaboration that's happening. Again, I'm thankful to the committee for the opportunity to share this, and I ask for you all to support and make sure that this appropriation gets done. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I will renew my motion to have House File 1645 laid over for possible inclusion in the Legacy Omnibus Bill. Thank you for your testimony.
Thank you.
Next, we
Thank
have... Rena Moran and House File 932. And then we'll have Jim Nash next.
What's that?
Welcome to committee.
Thank you.
I didn't do it.
I've already moved your bill, so
You already
go with your
moved it.
testimony.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So good evening, Mr. Chair and members. I want to thank the Chair for this opportunity to have House File 932 heard in this committee. I will do a brief introduction and then pass the torch on to my testifier, Marvin Anderson, who will discuss the importance of being here today. In 1956, the construction of Interstate 94 destroyed the thriving, tight-knit Rondo community, which is in my district, where homes, stores, and businesses once stood. The new freeway tore through the heart of St. Paul, largest African-American community, and the interstate shattered the lives of thousands of middle-class families. House File 932 brings the history of Rondo alive and allows generations of African-Americans to heal, tell their stories, and see themselves in the commemorative plaza. It will create a place where the history of Rondo is shared, not only in St. Paul, in the Twin Cities, but throughout the great state of Minnesota and around the country. I would ask now to have my only testifier, who is here, who is much more informed than I, to speak on the bill. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Welcome to our committee. Give your name for the record.
Thank you.
Could I just mention also, if you guys did not see, there's some information on the project in your folders. It should look similar to this, yes, but it's in color.
All right.
Good evening, Chair Gunther. My name is Marvin Anderson,
Kinda like the-
and I am here this evening to testify in support of House File 932. I'm actually here in 4 capacities. My first capacity, while I'm here, I'm the grandson of Ernest Jones, who was the son of an ex-slave who was trained in masonry and came to Minnesota in 1900s to work on the Minnesota State Capitol. So my grandfather was one of the 28 African-American men who came to Minnesota, had stayed, worked. He was trained as a Mason, so I am very happy to represent that legacy as part of my Rondo and my Minnesota legacy. I'm also here as a retired Minnesota state employee. For 24 years, I was employed by the Minnesota Supreme Court as the Minnesota State Law Librarian. So in that capacity, I had the opportunity to come before various committees over the years to make presentations, and it hasn't changed yet. It was always a pleasure to come, and I think I set the record for hearing before one committee. I was there for 17 hours before we actually got to testify, so.
Wow.
This has only been 4 hours a day, so I feel so happy.
I almost feel like I should apologize to everyone for the 4 hours, but there's not a whole lot I can do. I'm moving it ahead as fast as I can, and I think your father would have been proud of what the state capitol looks like today.
At the 100th anniversary, it was my pleasure to escort my mother to the state capitol. It was my grandfather, and she was one of the people who cut the cake for the 100th anniversary of the state capitol. She was 96 years old, so she was so thrilled to be able to come up and cut the cake and to walk around the state capitol this evening to see how magnificent the renovations are. To be able to walk through the basement without looking up at pipes and watch water come down. Because when I started in the year 1981, walking through that tunnel every now and then could be somewhat dangerous, and that has improved. My third capacity is here as the co-founder of the Rondo Day Festival, which has been going on now for 33 years. We started in 1983, and for 33 years, Rondo Avenue, Inc. has been having an annual festival where we bring back the memory and the legacy of the Rondo community. And next year in July will be our 34th year. And my final capacity is here as the project director for the Rondo Commemorative Plaza. I was born and raised in the Rondo community. That was the community that taught, mentored, and prepared so many of its youth to go forward and do good things. My Rondo experience was one of true democracy, where citizens of the community lived out a shared value that resulted in a strong, self-determined community that had cultural pride with an emphasis on education and an expectation that future generations would build upon what was begun and experience even greater success than their elders. We find that these core values have been AWO well from the Rondo community for too many years, and we are convinced that our commemorative plaza will play an important role as a venue where these ideas can be updated for today's generation, for today's youth. This latest undertaking of the Rondo Commemorative Plaza is the culmination of over 3 decades of work on the part of Rondo Avenue, Inc. to preserve our legacy, and I believe it will be a fantastic step towards building community assets that will help tell how the small African-American community of Rondo helped to shape the city of St. Paul and the state of Minnesota into the strong and a diverse city that it is today. More importantly, the commemorative plaza is an important cornerstone that opens the path to further historical projects that will culturally enrich our community. Finally, this project will transform a vacant plot of land not only into a focal point for local history, but it will also establish some cross-cultural connections with the new neighbors of Rondo. And when I say the new neighbors of Rondo, I'm referring to our Hmong, our Oromo, our Karen, and our Somali community. The plaza will be a place where they can escape the fluster and the dust of a highway and repose themselves in a small pocket park, but very well landscaped and very well equipped to welcome people from all cultures to relax and enjoy the surroundings. The site of the plaza at Victoria and I-94 will draw tourists and visitors to step off the Green Line to venture beyond University Avenue into the Summit University neighborhood. The location being adjacent to I-94 will draw focus to the impact of the highway's construction. The plaza's website will encourage visitors to see other sites in the neighborhood, a return for events, and this will spur economic development and economic empowerment for our community by encouraging repeated visits to the Summit University neighborhood. In summary, I call your attention to the handout, which provides a location where the plaza will be. And I also call your attention, and I'm not sure you have it, is the testimony of a number of people, cross-section of people. These people come from every walk of life. They're young, they're old. And I particularly call your attention to the last testimony, which is from 9 students from Macalester College who have spent the semester working in and around the Rondo community, and their views and how they express them give us confidence that what we're trying to do in the Rondo Commemorative Plaza has a purpose, has a need, and can provide that need by being a place where not only history is preserved, but the future can build upon the history, because if we don't remember our past, we'll make mistakes in the future. My final thought is that we are in the process of a reconciliation in Rondo. 2 years ago, we had a reconciliation ceremony when we dedicated the site. The mayor of the city of St. Paul, Chris Coleman, came and made an apology on behalf of the city of St. Paul. And we were very inspired by the words of the Commissioner of Transportation, Charlie Zelli, when he said that based upon transportation ideas and knowledge today, there was no way at all that Rondo, that the I-94 would have destroyed a community like it did Rondo. And he applauded our efforts because he said the knowledge of Rondo has made the state of Minnesota transportation employees more knowledgeable about how they need to listen and understand and have connections where transportation decisions are made. I thank the committee for their attention. Please read the handouts. I'm available for any questions you need to ask.
Any member had any questions? I say, Raymer?
Well, Mr. Chair, Mr. Anderson, thank you for that wonderful history lesson. You always give us something that we can think about after you've gone, and we appreciate that a lot. But we always manage to have a discussion about transportation and how the Rondo community was split and promises that were made about speed limits and so forth when we have the transportation bill up. Every single year, we have a long debate about something to do with transportation. And if we do this commemorative park, do you think maybe we'll stop those transportation discussions about the Rondo community?
We're looking at this commemorative park as the beginning of the end for those discussions. This is reconciliation. This is bringing an end to some of the Rondo community was asked to be a sponsor of a charter school, a young charter school in our community. And our board had a very long, serious discussion as to if we were the sponsors of this charter school, what would we tell those young people? And we came to the conclusion that there was still anger within us. This is 3 years ago. There was still hurt within us. There were still questions about the way in which the Rondo decision, the transportation decisions were made. And a light went off or a bell went off, and we decided at that time that the time for that anger, the time for that depression, the time for that sadness was over. And that's why we reached out and said, it's time to make a reconciliation, to acknowledge the problems in the past, and to build this plaza on a very, very positive partnership with the city and the county and the state and those other governmental entities that were involved and made those decisions which so destroyed our community. So yes, I believe this plaza, once it's built, will have an effect on that. And it already has had an effect in that just last week, this Highwaymen, a play that was put on by the History Theater, they had record-breaking attendance at that play. And it dealt with the highway decision, why the decisions were made, the people who made those decisions. And when we left there last Sunday, there was a sigh of relief that now we can get on with the building, the renaissance in our community. We don't have to carry that baggage anymore. It's gone. And I think this plaza will be that focal point that allows us to look forward and we'll look backward. We have to look backward, but we won't look backward and let it laden us down anymore. We'll look back because it will allow us to focus on the future. It's a very good question. I think those transportation decisions will take on a completely different tenor now, once this plaza is built.
Thank you. I renew your motion, Mr. Chair.
Okay, Representative Murphy renews my motion to have House File 932 be laid over for possible inclusion, and it was a very delightful presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your
You-
attention.
You have a great advocate beside you.
Absolutely. We are so proud of Rena, and thank her for.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Next,
Mr. Chair.
Leon?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As they're coming forward, I have a bill later up on Trecaw Court, and we picked up some bubble tea to go with the pizza from Mungtown across the street. So there's a bunch of them coming down. There's a couple different flavors, so you can kind of pick. And there's none of them that are bad. It looks like Representative Erval has figured it out. So.
Question. What did you bring, Representative Nash?
Where's his?
Well, Mr. Chair and members,
Just kidding.
I brought a guest who will regale you with fantastic stories.
He offered to pay half of the bubble tea, I think.
I don't know if that sounds good or not.
House File 666.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chair and members.
I will move House File 666.
I appreciate that,
Included
Mr. Chair. And
possibly
Mr. Chair and members, please don't hold the numbering of this bill against the bill itself. It is a little weird, the number of the beast, but anyway, so in this simple bill, I want to share with you some of the the merits of the Lake Waconia Regional Park. For those of you who have been to Waconia, you know that in the middle of our island, middle of our lake is an island called Coney Island. And it was named so after the island in New York. And it was a great tourist destination for many years at the turn of the previous century. And prior to that, it was a culturally significant island as it relates to the Native American population. And we're not really sure how far back those folks go. There are some studies that are currently being undertaken to discover just how many ancient people might have been on that island. Lake Waconia is named after the Ojibwe word Waconia, which means from water comes life. And that's where the cultural heritage of this particular project is. We're asking for a $300,000 appropriation, and the restoration of the island comes after a private owner has donated the island, along with some of the proceeds from the sale to Carver County, and it's going to be a fabulous project. It is in need of further assistance, and I thought that this would be the exact right place to bring this bill. It is a culturally significant on multiple levels, and we're just excited to talk to you about that. With me, I have Wendy Peterson Bjorn from the Carver County Historical Society, and she has some additional insight, if you were to have questions, as to what all we're going to be doing on Coney Island, and then the bill that follows this as well. So,
Welcome, Rec Committee. Give your name for the record.
Certainly. My name is Wendy Peterson Bjorn. I'm the Executive Director of the Carver County Historical Society. Been doing it a very long time.
Can't be that long.
Let's see, since 1988, so not at this place. The background, I can speak from the history aspect of it. My involvement has always been regarding it. It was placed on the National Register some time ago, back in the 1980 time period, is my understanding. When it came in the hands of Carver County, I've always been kind of overseeing some things. I am Section 106 certified. So when it came about, I suggested doing an archaeological study on the island to follow code on it. And the state archaeologist and SHPO was invited out there, and they did suggest an archaeological study, of which they have completed the first phase. Based on what they have found, and I'm a little hesitant about saying much at this point because they have not done a press release, however, it will be coming out soon. They have suggested phase 2 of an archaeological study about the island, and they have also, SHPO and the state archaeologists have suggested redoing the National Register to include archaeology because it has been found to be a very significant archaeology site. So they will, while there is a plan somewhat of a plan in place regarding walkways and such, the archaeology that they have found, and based on the state archaeologists and SHPO, what they say, things will be adjusted accordingly. I just wanted you to know that they're following exactly what they're supposed to be doing.
Sounds great.
thank you, Mr. Chair.
Any questions from members? Representative Erdahl.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm just wondering, I noticed that they use the island for preseason practices by the University of Minnesota team, football team. Do you have any idea when that was?
Mr. Chair and Representative Erdahl, if memory serves me, and Ms. Bjorn can correct me and throw things at me if she'd like, I believe it was in the 1905 timeframe that the Minnesota Golden Gophers would come out to Waconia Island and practice. It was on what would be the east end of the island. So, you know, if you want to throw in another level of cultural significance, if you're a Golden Gopher, you can come out and see where they practiced.
I'd have to
Bjorn.
look it up. I'm not exactly certain. We do have a blueprint from the 1880s, and there was a hotel on it. And I also know that the Mayo brothers did own lots on the land as well. So it is quite significant.
No, thank you. So it was about time that the last had a winning team.
Well, I don't follow as much with the football and whatnot, but
Mr. Chair and Representative Erdahl, I'm going to pass on that one.
Actually, Mr. Chair, I was just wondering if it was a time when Bernie Bierman was the coach or not, but that would have been probably in the 30s and 40s.
I don't know.
Representative Freiberg.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. It sounds like certainly a good project, an important park. I think I've actually been there. I I was trying to confirm that. I think there might be a geocache located on the island, but I wasn't able to find it in a quick search on my phone. But I guess I'm wondering, I see it, I mean, it's coming out of the park, it would, if it's funded, it would come out of the Parks and Trails Fund. I know we have a formula by which we allocate park funding in that fund. I'm just wondering how this would fit into that formula, and, you know, if there are already recommendations there and how this relates to those.
Representative Nash.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chair, and Representative Freiberg. In consultation with Chair Gunther, he encouraged me to bring the bill forward and left it to the purview of the committee as to whether to move this on or not. So I really couldn't say. I would leave that to the chair.
Mr. Chairman?
I mean, I get, Mr. Chair, I guess I'd be interested to know if you have any thoughts on that. I have heard some concerns from some of the other regional park entities that this would kind of, in essence, jump the line of the projects that they have already recommended funding for. And I don't know if either Representative Nash or Chair Gunther, if either of you could
We'll
speak
go
to that.
back to our story and Representative Erdahl.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chair, and this would, okay. We have, in our Parks and Trails, 40% to the DNR, 40% to the Met Council, and 20% to the Greater Minnesota Parks and Trails. This would come out of the Met Council 40%, and since we are actually singling out this particular project, it would just come out of that 40%.
Mr. Chair,
Representative Murphy.
just a further question on that. Have you approached Metro Council? And I have no idea how they award their park money, but
Representative Nash.
have you talked with them?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and Representative Murphy. The project would go, Carver County has designated Met Council to be their conduit for funding, so they're very aware of the bill, and no one has expressed objections to me from either Met Council. So I'm just presuming that this is, I don't want to say peace in the valley, but it's about, I might be able to say peace in the valley. As far as I understand, the Met Council has no opposition to this, as the Carver County folks have asked for it to come forward.
Any other questions from the members? Any closing statements?
Thank you.
With that, I will renew my motion to have House File 666
Ooh.
be laid over for possible inclusion in the Legacy Omnibus Bill. Representative Nash, I move House File 1351.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chair. House File 1351 is another appropriation request. It doesn't have a bad number associated to it. Mr. Chair, the Andrew Peterson Historical Farm is located in actually Laketown Township, just east of Waconia. It is another very historically, culturally significant location, and it is really just a great place to be. I'm going to let Ms. Bjorn testify to that a little bit, but this past summer, we broke ground, if you will, dedicated our efforts to begin restoring the Andrew Peterson Farm, and then Chair Erdahl was able to join us on an unbelievably hot day, and we spoke about the importance of this farm site. And I have a couple of things that I'd like to pass around. If the page could come and, sorry to interrupt your bubble tea. There's a pamphlet and a book, and we'll pass around some other things in just a second that talk about just how important this farm is, because it's about many of our ancestors and their life in this new state of Minnesota for them, coming from Sweden and Norway and other places. But it's also of modern cultural significance because of the amount of tourism that it has generated from people in Sweden and other places to come and visit it. So I will stop talking and let Ms. Bjorn pick it back up again.
Ms. Bjorn.
Many of you may have seen this farm in the news. Over the last 5 years, the donor donated this property to us, and we fought the fight to protect this property from being ripped apart. The Carver County Historical Society, there's only one of these properties in the state. And what you may be thinking first off, and I often think about this, is what makes this different? This is what makes it different. Those are the first and only English translation of the Andrew Peterson Diaries, starting in 1850, going to 1898, from the time he left Sweden until the 2 days before he died, right here in Minnesota. So it encompasses early Minnesota history. The property, we closed on the property about 2 years ago. Those are original, just be real
Be
careful.
gentle. Be gentle.
Be real gentle, but you can certainly look at them, yes. Yep. The diaries were important for a couple of reasons. There's a Swedish author by the name of Wilhelm Moberg. Wilhelm Moberg wrote a series of books called The Immigrants. This one you can pass around, that's a copy. Those books were made into a musical, and they were made into a movie in the 1970s, more recently into a musical. They document the history of the Swedes who came to Minnesota. A third of the whole population of Sweden came to the Midwest. And a big chunk of those of us sitting in this room have that Swedish background. The other book that is being passed around, The Unknown Swede, was written by Moberg. And in that book, chapter 2, that is marked, it notes that he found the diaries, that one right there, yep.
Thank you, Chair Torkelson.
He found the diaries, the original Swedish diaries at the Minnesota Historical Society, and there it was, he found everything he needed to write his books. So it is documented that he used the diaries and the farm. Now, Andrew Peterson was also known for his Astrakhan apple trees, which are a winter hardy apple tree that he worked with the University of Minnesota with. And also the Swedish Baptist Church started in his house, which is the Scandia Church, which was moved to the Bethel College campus. So there's 3 very good reasons. The other thing that makes this property extremely unique is that it is so terribly, terribly well documented. And I'm going to read from the top of this, and then I'm going to pass this around too. But it's documented in that we own all of the original paperwork, his immigration work. The diaries are still in good shape and used at the Minnesota Historical Society. I was over there last Friday using them. The buildings are immaculate, same siding still, it's still there. The original framework of the buildings, everything is still there. The people who owned it previously, Mort Halasik, he loved that property dearly, and he covered everything with sheetrock and still kept the original siding on it. The support for this property has been huge. Like Representative Nash noted, last summer we dedicated the property. At the dedication, both Representative Nash and Representative Erdahl were there, but we also received letters from Senators Amy Klobuchar and from Al Franken, and also from U.S. Representative Emmer. Along with that, we had representatives from the Minnesota Historical Society, the American Swedish Institute, and various others that have a lot to do with the property. It's very well respected, very well known. The mission statement for the property, what are we going to do with the property? It is the mission and the vision of the CCHS regarding the Andrew Peterson Farm to preserve and interpret the Andrew Peterson Farm through the lens of Minnesota's rich immigrant and agricultural history. The farm and historically significant diaries of Andrew Peterson will be used to encourage visitors of all ages to discover our diverse heritage and to understand how the past shapes the present and the future. This was adopted by our board on May 7th, 2015. We have prepared already a concept master plan, and we are working with McDonald and Mack to do a historic structures report. Last summer, we received from a very large donor who prefers to remain anonymous 50% of the cost for the historic structure report, which was $100,000. So he gave us $50,000, and we were able to raise the other $50,000 in 2 months from local donations and other places. And these are just small donations, one $20,000 donation, and the National Trust for Historic and Preservation in Washington, D.C. gave us $10,000 for that historic structures report. So you can see the backing is huge. But the biggest gift of all comes from this same donor, again, remaining anonymous. For every $2 we raise, they will give us $1, up to a $1 million match. So for example, if we received $2 million, they would give us $1 million. If we received $500,000, we would get $250,000. So when we're talking about taxpayer money and using it wisely, this is probably going to be your best deal on the table today regarding matching funding. Plus the fact that it is so well beloved and so well documented, and we have such huge backing on it from so many different places. The concept master plan will show that we have already done we've talked to various people, and we found out what they want. They want school programming out there. They want us to do agriculture out there. The Historical Society has been around since 1940. We're not going to go away. We've been there around wrong time, and the Carver County supports us and backs us in a very wonderful sense. We have full-time curators, full-time director, full-time educators.
And Mr. Chair and members, if I could get Ms. Bjorn to also talk about the exchange programs that we've had back and forth on a regular basis. We've had folks from our sister city in Sweden come over for a visit.
That's right. We continually get tourists from Sweden. They bring over tour buses every year, which pumps tourist dollars into our area as well. This isn't something we've gone out and looked for. They come and do it on a regular basis of their own accord. The University of Minnesota teaches out of the book The Immigrants, and that's how we've learned from some of them as well. The American Swedish Institute granted me a scholarship to study for a month in Sweden this May about 19th century agriculture and property so that I can bring back the information to further bring the farm into more use.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, we'd stand for questions.
Representative Erdahl.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I certainly did enjoy my, well, kind of, the weather wasn't that good with the heat, but I did enjoy touring the farm. I'm a big, well, I like to restore or see buildings restored like this one, and I think it's a good project. Andrew Peterson is the person about whom the character Carl Oscar Peterson came. So if you've at all acquainted with the Immigrant Saga and the character of Carl Oscar and Christina, they are based from this farm and from Andrew Peterson.
That is correct.
I taught that. I taught the Immigrant Saga and Carl Oscar's story for quite a few years in New London Spicer, where we've got some Swedes and a few Norwegians. But I think it's a worthy project that we should take a good look at.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions?
Thank you, Mr. Chair and committee, and I would be remiss, and Ms. Bjorn might hurt me if I didn't retrieve all the materials that we brought. 'Cause some of them are original, and I don't want to get hurt.
Oh, I took notes on one of them.
If you would like copies of the concept plan, I would be happy to email it to anybody who would like it. Just know that it is a concept plan only, but it does give us an idea of where we would like to go and includes all the surveys that we did and what the community has said they would like to use the property for.
Thank you. I hope you get them all back. If you don't, let us know.
Well, there's books floating around here somewhere. We just received permission to reprint that. That's completely out of print. It's the only documentation we have that proves that Milford used the diaries for the book.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'll renew my motion to have House File.
Yeah, well,
You have a question? Representative Murphy?
Mr. Chair, Representative Nash, Ms. Bjorn, I understand the bill, except I don't understand the relationship with the department or with the State Historical Society. Are you competing for a grant there as well as
Not at this time.
a request of the Legacy Committee?
I do not have any grants in with them at this time, no. We have used them for the North Barn, but to give you some idea, that was, I believe, 5 grants over 6 years or 6 grants over 5 years, and with 6 buildings, that can take a very long time, probably longer than I'll be around.
Well,
Representative Murphy?
Mr. Chair, Ms. Bjorn, they have several different grant levels at which they give grants and so forth. And are you using them for advice on restoration?
As far as restoration, yes. When we worked with the North Barn, I worked with Catherine Sanderlund over at SHPO, although I understand she has moved on to, I think, the city of Minneapolis. But I worked very closely with SHPO. And we also have had historic architect Ton Grover over at McDonald and Mack, who has been our advisor all along. So yes, we have worked very closely with them. The North Barn had to be restored completely, which means using exact square nails, pegs, everything as it was, because we started working on it when the donor was still alive. The rest of the property will be reused, so it will be done a little bit differently because it has to meet the scope of public use as far as zoning and weight load and restrictions and other things. So we will have to talk to a few more, and things have to be done a little bit differently. But I am very well versed in we have very good advice from over there, yes.
And, Mr. Chair, Ms. Bjorn, the $750,000 that you're asking for, what will that buy?
Well, do you want to take that?
Well, Mr. Chair and Representative Murphy, you know, we talked through the different projects that they have there, and it could go from additional barn work, it could go to the different things that are going to be there to enable people to visit the historic site. There's a I think it's over $2 million in cost that they have to get it ready so that folks who want to come out and see the significance of this site, just to make it so that they can come and do so, and that's some of the requests that we're doing.
Also, I want to note that we are in the middle of the historic structures report, and because we're in the middle of it, it's hard for me to answer that exactly. They have given me some ideas of the numbers, but without that completely. The donor will only fund the things that have to do with building restoration. So if we were to put in a parking lot, driveway, or do a interpretive center, for example, they would not fund that at all. So any of the restoration on the buildings is good. But if we were to go beyond anything that was not restoring the buildings, they would not match that. So that's in answers to some of your questions. I know that might be not exact number that you would like, but the structures report will be done coming up here within the next couple of months.
So, Mr. Chair, Ms. Bjorn, then, so you might be using some of the funding from the Legacy Committee for a parking lot?
No, no, that is not what the legacy funding is for. That is correct. Yeah, I know what you're getting at. No, it's the same situation. The legacy funding is used to match with what the donor is, and you have the same thought pattern, yes.
Thank you.
That would be on our own.
Representative Erdahl.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. And, you know, I would just encourage you also to seek grants through the Historical Society. I mean, this $750,000 would very likely be coming right out of the money that is appropriated to the Historical Society. And so I think you should look at grants as well, just because, you know, we can't say right now how all this is going to come together in the end.
Once the historic structures report is done, I will know exactly, because it'll be like a document like this, and they'll tell us exactly what needs to be done. But the smaller grants from MHS, they are in segments instead of a larger piece like the house. I know for sure they have said that's about $750,000 in the house alone. So
I'll just, I mean, I know in the larger grants, Mr. Chairman, that they do give some sizable ones. I think I'm aware of a project that received $250,000 twice.
Representative Wagenius.
I just wanted to see if I heard this
the
right.
upper one.
Did you say it would take $750,000 to restore the farmhouse?
for the farmhouse. And it's a number that they have given me as an estimate. Part of it has to do with the thing is, the heating system right now is electric along the side, but it has to be hidden if you want an actual building. But these are estimates, and they aren't done with the historic structure report yet. So I don't know the exact numbers. Those are just estimates that they gave me in an email, because I said I needed something to use.
I hope you can look for other places. We have a farmhouse that's just about that old, and we haven't spent $50,000 on it, and it's in fine shape.
Yep.
And the number just blows my mind.
Yep. It does. It does. And without seeing the report, I can't answer that question. I would have to have them here with me to answer that fully. But I can tell you, like, when I worked at the Oliver Kelly Farm, the heating was hidden underneath the windowsill, so I'm sure it has to do with some of that as well. But I haven't seen the exact numbers, and I haven't seen the report because it isn't complete.
Well, if I could, Mr. Chairman, if it's historical, it has a wood stove, it doesn't have electric heat.
It has a, it does not have wood stove. They had upgraded it with, it's a boiler down the basement. So it has the water radiator, but they're just about this far off the floor. It doesn't have the big radiators. That's the type of heat it has in it right now. Yep. And they put a steel roof on it, so that would have to come off and things like that.
It's an astonishingly high number.
Anytime you're working with a historic property, you run into that, yeah.
Any other questions? Again, I will renew my motion to have House File 1351 laid over for possible inclusion in our omnibus bill. Thank you.
We thank you, Mr. Chair.
And next, we have Quam, Representative Quam. House File 403, I'll move to House File 403, be possibly laid over for inclusion in our omnibus bill. You may proceed with your testimony.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members. And while Representative Dean has moved from his chair, he would have remembered a discussion some years ago when I was a freshman. The Legacy Fund dollars for art, I see as being to propagate and generate and foster new and diverse art across the state, not to supplant and continue to fund large existing entities. In reviewing the website, I discovered that there's about a dozen grants that are $100,000 or more, and they go to well-established entities. And I've had some discussion with members of the different regional arts councils. And so I thought for your discussion to bring forth this bill to look at going from predominantly sending legacy funds to the state's arts board, which those projects, I think, if you review them, you'll see tend to go to well-established and more traditional art entities, primarily in the metro, and actually a couple of tight locations in the metro. And this would take the funds and still give a portion to the State Arts Board, but take the majority of the money and distribute it by population, proportional population, to the regional art councils, hoping that the regional arts councils, being closer to the people, they would be able to see and hear more, diverse and new proposals, so we could foster young artists, no matter what media they work in, to come forth and show the neighbors in the community some new forms of art and reinvigorate some parts of the state who don't quite see much in the funding of art. And I know it's controversial, and the main thing is, art is in the eye of the beholder. And if most of the legacy monies are funneled through a small group, I think you're inherently missing some wonderful, creative new artists across the state. And I'm available for questions, but mainly this is to think outside the box of traditional art and allow the fostering of new artists.
I think we have somebody from the audience that'd love to testify. Welcome again to our committee. Please give your name for the record.
Mr. Chair, members, my name is Sue Jens. I'm the director of the Minnesota State Arts Board. And I bring with me regrets from Larry Redmond from Minnesota Citizens for the Arts. He had hoped to be here today, but he is ill, so he can't be with us tonight. We would respectfully request that the committee not adopt House File 403. This bill would bring a sudden and drastic change to the way arts are funded in the state of Minnesota and have been funded in the state of Minnesota for a very long time. All 87 counties are being funded, and we think that there are some negative consequences. I appreciate Representative Quam's interest in improvements and things that can make the system better, but I think that this really fundamentally changes the way we do the work and wouldn't necessarily produce some of the advantages. Minnesota is recognized as having one of the best public funding systems in the arts. And it has been that way for decades, and I can brag about it because I didn't create it. Many very thoughtful people put this system together, and it's been a cooperative system that has worked, we think, relatively very well. I think many of you were visited by the close to 1,000 individuals who were in the Capitol here just a week ago, talking to you about the impact of that funding. So the system is really designed to foster the entire, what we call the ecosystem of the arts community, whether it's first-time artists, brand-new artists, maybe just out of college, to the mature artist who has lived her entire career in Minnesota and chooses to live here because there are ways to support that work, whether it's a first-time startup organization or whether it's a well-established organization. And the reason we have such a richness of the arts is because we do have that full ecosystem. It's important to be fostering new things, as Representative Quam said, but you need to sustain things as well, and you need to extend the things that exist farther and farther beyond the borders in the communities that they are based. And so many people assume that the regional arts councils were created to be the rural delivery system, and in part that's true. 10 of the 11 regional arts councils are based in greater Minnesota. But Representative Khan, who was just at our board meeting a few weeks ago, was talking about her original idea when this system was put together was to say that there should be some funding for things that are new, that are startups, things that are serving a particular community or a county that have a more limited reach and scope. But there also have to be funds for established things, things that are statewide, things that have a long track record, things that are specially designed to serve across counties and across regional boundaries, like the touring program we have or the folk arts program that we have. And so Representative Quam talked about some of the large organizations that are receiving large grants. One of those that he might have looked at was the Children's Theater Company, a Tony Award-winning company that's based here in Minneapolis that serves 300,000 people a year, half of them children under the age of 18. And so every year, busloads of children come to the Twin Cities and have a chance to go there. And I think the analogy is like taking your family to go see the Twins. That there is this world-class organization, and it's something that all Minnesotans can participate in at some point. But then there's also the online partnerships. We talked about the McPhail Center when I was here a few weeks ago, and the way that program is serving 45 different school districts all across the state of Minnesota using online technology. You need a larger organization to do that sort of work and cross outside of their home community. Or the James Sewell Ballet helping to develop a dance program in Grand Rapids where professional dancers who have worked on the New York stage are now helping to develop young dancers in Minnesota. So we believe you need all of those things. Could the regional arts councils benefit from more funding? Absolutely. If you look at the 2014, 15, 16, you take those 3 years together, in those 3 years, our regional arts councils could fund 70% of the applications that they received. A lot of good programs that they weren't able to fund. In those same 3 years, the Arts Board was able to fund 40% of the applications it received. So the needs are immense, and we certainly welcome thoughts about the ways to do the work better, but I think our concern are that this really takes away our incentive to work as a system to analyze, to prioritize, to make decisions about how best to allocate dollars to support the entire arts ecosystem. So we would respectfully ask that this would not be an idea that's adopted.
Just out of curiosity, who funds arts across Minnesota? The Arts Board or the Regional Arts Council?
Mr. Chair, we don't use the name Arts Across Minnesota anymore, but the Arts Board funds that. It's a touring program, and it's a festivals program that we fund.
Who funds the Minnesota Orchestra when they come out to Mankato?
Mr. Chair, the Arts Board does, through that arts tour program.
Okay, thank you. Any questions from the members? Seeing none, I will lay over for possible inclusion House File 403.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much. Representative Murphy. Welcome to your committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. With my baby. I'm bringing my baby. House File 1308 is the bill that comes before us every year where we provide funding for arts and culture and heritage programs through the library systems that were developed long ago, and reaches every part of the state and pretty much all the people of the state possible. And with me tonight, I have Barb Misalt from East Central Regional Library System and Ann Hokerson from Traverse des Sioux Library System. And they have stories to tell and thank yous to be made. And just, they can tell the heart and soul of what the legacy money has meant to the people in their regions.
Please give your name for the record.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, committee members, my name is Ann Hokinson, and I'm the Executive Director of the Traverse des Sioux Library Cooperative in Mankato, Minnesota. We provide service to libraries in 9 counties in south central Minnesota. I'm asking you to fund House File 1308, the Regional Public Library System's request for $4.25 million annually for the next 2 years for arts and cultural heritage programming. I'm here to testify to the need for and the results of this funding. My colleague Barb will speak after me about the total funding request, how it is distributed across the state, and how it is soundly managed. But I want to begin by telling you why it makes such a powerful positive impact on all Minnesota. The regional public library systems use this funding to build and strengthen a shared community and state identity by providing free programs and experiences that tell the rich historical and cultural stories of our state, in addition to showcasing the talents of Minnesota artists, authors, and historians. Because public libraries are deeply embedded in communities of all sizes throughout our state, all Minnesotans, rural and urban, directly benefit from these programs. I live and work in rural Minnesota, where these learning opportunities simply did not exist before legacy funding. Poverty and transportation are statewide issues, but sheer distance from the metro compounds those problems in rural Minnesota. Public library legacy-funded programming reaches every corner of the state, and because all our programs are free, they are available to everyone. This funding request is unanimously supported by all the regions, including those that serve the urban areas. They too rely on this funding to reach people who otherwise would not have access. We know how much Minnesotans appreciate your funding decision because they tell us. They fill out evaluation forms after each program. They call us. They stop us on the street, and they tell us how much these experiences mean to them. They tell us that their family of 4 never would have been able to afford an opportunity like this. Others tell us that because they don't have transportation, they never would have been able to have this type of experience. They tell us that they learn new things, they think new thoughts, and they feel newly connected. The legacies we have to leave are worth nothing if the people who receive them cannot value them. Arts and cultural heritage funds are used by the state's public libraries to build that capacity in our communities. I have 3 brief stories to share with you. Master storyteller Boyd Huppert brought audience members to tears again and again at a Waseca School auditorium as he told how he researches, prepares, and tells the stories that resonate across the state on his CARE 11 program, Boyd Huppert's Land of 10,000 Stories. Audience members laughed and cried, spontaneously sharing their own stories with each other, wiping away tears and smiling. It was a deeply connecting experience, completely different from watching a television segment alone, that created a common bond between everyone in the room. And this story directly from Winnebago, Minnesota, from the Muir Library Director Heidi Schutt. She says, in November of 2015, we hosted an art teacher from the Mankato area at our library. She taught a painting class for young adults and adults. Because of space restrictions, we had to limit the number of participants to 30 people, and we had a waiting list. The night of the program, a community member who I hadn't seen in the library before pulled me aside and quietly said, "My friend said this program is free. Is that true? I'm signed up, but I don't have money to pay for the class." I assured her it was free and that all library programs are free. Since that evening, she has brought her grandchildren to almost every family program at the library. She also attended another painting class we held last summer, and she brought a couple of new people with her. She's found a place in her community that welcomes her even with her limited income. And lastly, some of you may know Rhonda Barnes. She's the dynamo librarian who runs the public library in the city of Leroy, population 927, down in Mower County. Rhonda gets one of the highest per capita turnouts to her programs in the state. Legacy funds paid for photographer and storyteller Doug Ullman to speak after the Leroy Community Dinner on February 21. He presented on Going to Work, the New Deal in Minnesota. First, I want you to be impressed that there are monthly community dinners in Leroy open to the public. Then I want you to be impressed that 51 people stayed to hear Doug speak. That's something like 15% of the adults in town. If that were Mankato, we'd be talking about an audience of over 2,000 people to hear about Minnesota history. Rural Minnesotans vote with their feet when they support legacy programming at their libraries. Thank you for your time. Your librarians believe passionately in the good of this work because they see the results every day. Please fully fund our request so that we can continue to build a strong, vibrant, shared cultural heritage across our entire state.
Thank you. Would you please give your name for the record?
Representative Gunther, committee members. Thank you to Representatives Murphy, Gunther, Lilly, and Erdahl for authoring the Library Legacy Bill. I am Barbara Missel, Executive Director of East Central Regional Library, which includes the counties of Aiken, Chisago, Isanti, Kanabec, Mille Lacs, and Pine. Minnesota Regional Library Systems have received legacy funds for activities in public libraries since Minnesota voters approved the legacy amendment in 2008. In 2017, the amount libraries collectively received was $2.134 million. That amount has varied each biennium from a high of $4.25 million per year to $2.15 million per year. The funds are divided among the 12 regional public library systems according to a formula. The map I've given you illustrates the amount each system receives in fiscal year 2017. In the little red at the bottom, it tells you how the formula works. 5% of the total is divided among the 12 library systems equally as a basic system share. So in 2017, each regional library system starts with $8,892. Then 57% of the total is divided among them in a weighted formula according to population share, 12.5% according to area, and 25% according to qualified entities. In other words, the number of libraries and the number of counties each region serves. Regional shares vary from 53,614 to Northwest Regional Library in Thief River Falls, to 825,529 to the Melsa region of Metro County Libraries. My region receives $91,755 to offer arts and cultural heritage experiences to the 177,000 residents of East Central Regional Library. In ECRL, a board-appointed committee oversees the use of the funds to ensure that citizens of all communities can attend programs at no charge near them. The committee is comprised of citizens, staff, and trustees, which also includes several county commissioners. Each region has a similar structure in place to ensure the maximum access and benefits to all citizens. Every community of every size has a pathway to receive legacy funds through the Regional Library Oversight Committee, which is much more attuned to the information of tiny rural towns than something like, say, some of the arts boards. Further, the Regional Library Oversight process provides a minimally cumbersome pathway for local artists to participate and share their talents within their communities. Each region budgets 2.5% to a maximum of 5% of funds received for administration. My region and many others account for part of their administrative costs to their overall county-funded budgets as their contribution to the programming. In my region, citizens have benefited from historical programs, author discussions, musical presentations, and children's theater performances. Older residents especially appreciate the opportunities near to their home since they can neither travel or afford to travel. On program days, the library is full of people and the attendees can't wait for the next program. I respectfully ask you to approve $4.25 million for each year of this biennium for regional public library systems to sponsor the arts and cultural heritage experience that Minnesotans request from corner to corner of our state.
Before we do that, we have an amendment that we neglected to do it to make your statement right.
You're right.
Representative Murphy, you would want to move the A1 amendment?
Mr. Chair, I certainly do, and I was waiting for her to mention the amount because the amount in the bill is incorrect. And so we would
incorrect.
like to, I would like to move amendment A1.
The amendment basically changes the amount from, that was in the bill to $4,250,000 each year of the biennium. All in favor of that?
That was my intent from the beginning, Mr. Chair.
And I neglected to bring it up, so I'm sorry. So I will, I'll ask, all approve that amendment, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Oppose it, say nay. Amendment carries. Now you got the bill the way you wanted. I'm sorry it
Thank you,
took
Mr.
so long.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And, no, I have attended so many of the regional library performances or visits by authors or just walking into the libraries and to see who's around kind of thing. But one of the most impressive things, and I wish Dwayne Quam was still, Representative Quam was still here, because one of the biggest things that's happened in northeastern Minnesota through the legacy funding and the cooperation of the Arts Board with the libraries and the basic funding of basics like the Minnesota Opera was the Minnesota Opera came to the Northland 2 years ago. Full-blown Minnesota Opera at the Duluth Auditorium. But before they did that, they sent Miss Elisa to 25 libraries and 6 schools, I think it was. I might be wrong on the number of schools, but she worked with school kids. She was there, the Minnesota Opera's representative, to prepare the children or the adults, because sometimes she did an adult program at the library, sometimes she did a kids program. But the most impressive thing to me was on this day in Two Harbors, at the Two Harbors Library. It's a Carnegie Library, and it has a big mural in the library that was done by 2 different artists together that did not know each other, above the mantle at the Two Harbors Library. But I digress. The opera, she came and gave this program. It was for early childhood children. And about half a dozen children came to hear her tell about the dog in the opera. And she read the story, but she also introduced the children to German, Latin, French, and Italian, as well as English, while she was reading the story to the children about the dog singing at the opera. And these little kids were just in awe of everything she did. And when she went, ah, or however she did it, or whatever she did, they mimicked her just like she did. And there was this one little girl that was so perfect. Like if she sang, they sang. If she spoke German, they spoke German. They didn't know, they never heard these things, but they just blended with her, and she had that talent that a good teacher has to have. And at the end, I talked to her about the little girl. And she said, "Who is that little girl?" 4-year-old little girl did everything exactly like Miss Elisa did. Perfect pitch, perfect pronunciation. And I said, I don't know who that little girl is. The librarian didn't know who that little girl is. But that little girl, she said, that little girl is much better than I will ever be. At the age of 4, she could tell that little girl was talented. So she said, you find out who that little girl is. So I went to the librarian, and the other kids were in the living room. This was after it was over. And they had gotten out of there so fast, and the librarian just knew. They came from up north in Lake County. They didn't live on the grid. They only came to town sometimes. They checked out books occasionally, but not very often. Most often, they did their reading in the library. And sometimes they came in a car, and other times she had no idea how they were transported there. But they came once in a while, but she did not know their name. And so Miss Alicia and the librarian talked about how she could find out who that little girl was, so that little girl could be exposed to music lessons in the future. And so she would not waste this obvious talent she had. And every time I go to Two Harbors, I ask the librarians who are there if they found out who the little girl is yet. And we haven't found. But it's a little girl that won't have any other chances if we stop looking. And 3,000 people on Halloween Day came from all parts of the Northland to attend that opera that performed at the deck for over 3 hours. The audience was with the opera every single way. They were part of it. There were old people, there were young people, there were rural people, there were city people. There were people that had gone to many operas, but most people that were there had never attended and would never have attended if they hadn't attended. Poor people got to go with reduced rates tickets. Some people got to go with free tickets. Some people paid $25 full price. But it was legacy money that brought it to the Arrowhead Country. And people are still talking about it 2 years later. And talking about when Miss Alicia went into their schools and the final performances that took place at their schools, or the brief meeting with the German classes, or the French classes, or the music classes from K through 12 in 24 schools across the Northland. It was great. And so if the Minnesota Opera didn't get legacy money, Hermantown wouldn't have gotten legacy money. It would be attendance of the legacy master. And the other rural kids wouldn't have had a chance. So think about that with the outreach that all the other companies are making when the standards are receiving legacy money too.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time.
And Mary Murphy will renew her motion to have House File 1308 as amended be laid over for possible inclusion. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And I'm sorry I didn't make the library meeting in Mankato.
Oh, yes, well, you'll have another opportunity next year.
Mr. Chairman, I did make it to Two Harbors, and Representative Murphy showed me the library with the paintings. I'm suggesting maybe afterwards, because Representative Murphy, you just gave us a tease there with that opera. If we stay afterwards, would you continue?
I cannot mimic like the little girl. The little 4-year-old, she was right on. She had perfect pronunciation and perfect pitch.
Well, you have librarians on the case. I'm sure they're going to find her.
Representative Lilly, you're next. Where'd he go? He's already on his way. Would you like to move your bill?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd be honored to move House File 1629 for your consideration, sir.
Very well.
Mine should only take about twice as long as Mary, so I hope that's okay.
I haven't got anything to do till midnight.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Gotta cover the clock then.
Sure. Mr. Chair, with great honor, I'm bringing before you the House File 1629, and it's to build a Tacraw Court in the city of St. Paul with the collaboration of Ramsey County. And probably a few of you are familiar with Tacraw. It's very popular in Asia. And with our changing population, it's become very popular in Minnesota. And I'd like to show you a quick, maybe not. Oh, okay. We're going to show you we'll wait till the end and show you a little video. It'll take about a minute. But as you probably know, we have in Minnesota, we have quite a few Hmong neighbors. And today I'm honored to have one of our leaders in that community. Senator Herr was here, but I think he had to go to another meeting, another commitment. But so what Tacraw is, it's a game of skill very similar to soccer and to volleyball. But one of the fun things is for me about the Tacraw is Minnesota recently, we've had kind of a falling off of men's sports just as far as nation leading. But in Tacraw, and they have female teams as well, but we have with us today, we have a national champion in Tacraw. So you can go with the women's volleyball and the women's hockey and the women's links basketball, but here we have a national champion in Tacraw. And I'm not really good at, I'm sorry about your name, so I'll let him pronounce it, and he can just tell you about the sport and what we're trying to do here with this bill, Mr. Chair.
Would you give your name for the record so we know you were here 50 years from now? Could you give your name for the record, please?
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and the Legacy community members. My name is Gao Chang, G-A-O, last name Chang, C-H-A-N-G. I'm a Ramsey County deputy as well, and I'm a player too.
It isn't very often I get to see a national champion of anything.
I thank you very much for considering the bill tonight, and I would like to briefly a little bit about the history of the Sepak Takraw. It's known in Laos as a Kedo, originated in China and made its way to Thailand and Southeast Asia 200 years ago. And until 1829, the Siam Sport Association drafted the first rule that they want to implement into the game. And currently, there are 34 countries across the 5 continents that play Sepak Takraw, including Europe and South America. And here we are in North America. Sepak Takraw is a sport played by many people from Southeast Asia. It's a totally body and physical sport that is on its way to becoming the Summer Olympic game. We had the best player in state of Minnesota. Our players from here combined with the Texas player and California players, they went to Thailand, compete there, they brought home the gold medal. They competed against 34 countries. And also competed in tournaments in Indonesia, Malaysia, and Thailand. This sport is being played by Hmong, Laotian, the Karen, and as well as Caucasian players as well. This sport is diversified the sport culture of St. Paul, moving beyond just basketball, baseball, football, but adding the sport of sepak takraw into the mix. We are asking the fund to build 3 professional court in Minnesota, and it is the first professional court in the U.S. And thank you very much, and I hope you enjoyed the video that is going to play shortly here. I am one of the team members, but I'm not in the video.
Mr. Chair, so we'll play the video. I just want to mention, so they're going to try to build a court, and then it was kind of neat, you know, the Vikings, the Vikings, I guess, yes, but in Minnesota has brought the Super Bowl is coming to Minnesota, and part of it is these 52 grants that they're doing, and St. Paul area received one of these 52 legacy grants for towards an effort, because there's some matching money, I think, too, that needs to be done on this from public money that, you know, to match what's going on here, and part of that's going to be from this 52 weeks from the Viking money as well. But here's the video. It's pretty neat. It's an amazing sport, and both men and women play it. So,
Mr. Chair, is Representative Lilly playing?
Mr. Chair and Representative Erdahl, we did play in St. Paul at this Vikings event. I was actually kind of happy to get out of it without injury. It's amazing some of the athletic feats. There's flipping, and it's a little bit of Pele on steroids, if you're familiar with soccer, and they're landing on hard surfaces. So it's a very athletic sport.
Be doing that.
I'm sure. Thank you, Mr. Chair and members, and we stand for questions, but thank you for your consideration.
Any questions from the members? I'm not going to jump up and go down like that, I promise you. Seeing none?
Mr. Chair, our testifier has a question.
I would love to have.
Thank you, Mr.
I just would like to add an additional information into this. Our goal is to expand this sport into the public school and simple park and rec as soon as we build the court, and we will create leagues. And just so you know, our goal is to build 3 courts. One is for kids, like this ball is very soft, and the second court is for those competitor players that you just saw in the video. They train. They will go compete national and international. And once this sport admitted or implemented to the Summer Olympic, Minnesota will be the first players to compete in the Olympic game. And third court is for the senior for access program, and we can enjoy. So thank you very much, and we are looking forward to get help from the committee. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and
You
thank
wanna
you for your
renew your
consideration.
motion?
Yes, sir. I'd like to renew the motion that the committee considers House File 1629. Thank you, sir.
Very well, thank you.
And just for your information, the tea was from across the street or up on Como Avenue from Monktown. And everyone's welcome to go there and shop and try out tea and other.
Very good, thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we got Sandy Lehman.
Well, you should have. We should join. We should sign up for the one for exercise.
You do first.
I'll put my name down first if you put your name down second.
I don't know, I still have it up first. I'm older than you.
Erdahl can do third. As soon as he's well.
Welcome to your committee. I see you got your Green Giant hat on. Or Sprout.
Will this help?
I don't know. It's not just up to me. Welcome to your committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is a little token from an earlier presentation, I think. Well, I'm really pleased to be here this evening. We're going to make this really quick. But I am proud to represent Ampers in their request before the Legacy Committee, and I would move, Mr. Chair, House File 1718 to be considered for layover in the omnibus legacy bill. And Ampers is not Minnesota Public Radio. It is community radio, and it is independent radio, and it covers a good part of greater Minnesota. And I have personal experience with Ampers because I live in the area that's covered by Northern Community Radio. And the stations there are based out of Grand Rapids and Bemidji. And what I have found is that Northern Community Radio connects rural communities to each other and across a large region. And the operations are slim with a few paid staff, but primarily run by volunteers. And so these are community people. Anybody is welcome to come in, be trained as a volunteer, and play music and do programming and so on. What I've found is that the legacy funding has really enhanced the offerings that those independent radio stations have made. So with me today as the sole testifier is the CEO, Chief Executive Officer of Ampers, Joel Glazer, and I'll turn it over to him.
Welcome to our committee. Give you a name for the record, Joe.
Mr. Chairman, members, for the record, my name is Joel Glazer. I am the CEO of Ampers. And if memory serves from earlier, the hearing this afternoon, Mr. Chair, I believe you were awarding bonus points for brevity. So we were going to take you up on that offer, even if there are not bonus points. I believe there was even one testifier saying bonus dollars. But regardless, we will certainly keep it brief. We appreciate the fact that it's getting quite late this evening. Because our legislative report, which you received electronically, is 140 pages long, my guess is, unless you're looking for a clear cure for insomnia, you probably did not read it, so I'm just going to hit a couple of very, very quick points. One would be that last year, collectively, the 18 entities that received funding produced more than 12,500 programs, bringing our total to date, last year was 2,700 programs, bringing total legacy programs to date that you can find on the Ampers website to 12,500 programs that are all available to listen to on demand now and for future generations. We had more than 90,000 people across the state attend either programs that we produced ourselves or helped to co-produce along with other arts organizations. We understand one very important part of the Legacy Amendment is to help arts organizations and artists themselves to not only survive but thrive. And last year we paid 618 artists. The artists themselves are quite appreciative of that. I have two quick quotes. Had we had more time, we would have brought an artist in with us. Dallas Dale of Detroit Lake said, quote, "The opportunity the station has given me through the Mixdown series has promoted my business, and I have gained gigs through the exposure of your support." We're also preserving culture and history. Mary Favorite, an elder from the White Earth Reservation, said, quote, "Thank you for the opportunity to share my story and my knowledge of culture and traditions of our community. Mary passed away shortly after we aired her interview. Her interview is now archived online, available for all future generations to hear. We preserve history with segments like MN90, Minnesota History in 90 Seconds. I had a segment I was going to air. Instead, what I'll do, most of you probably already have this if you were at the State Fair, but I will ask the page to pass around anyone who does not have the best of MN90, Minnesota History in 90 Seconds. Please feel free to take one. We not only preserve, we expose and immerse people to cultural activities. In April of this year, we held the second annual Bay Majigabog Sanford Center Powwow. Then Chair Erdahl was in attendance with approximately 3,000 other individuals who attended the powwow. Native and non-natives both not only attended, but participated. And I will call to your attention, you should have had in your packet, the educational program. Typically at a powwow, you do not typically have a program, but we decided to actually create this as an educational program so that you could actually learn and feel welcome and not worry about sticking your foot in your mouth and saying something that might be inappropriate. This was met with such great enthusiasm that the St. Mary's School in Red Lake actually contacted us and asked us for 100 copies of these because they felt it did such a good job of summarizing the information that they wanted a copy for every student in their school as well as every one of their teachers. We are getting great feedback from the teachers. One of the things that we learned as we were handing out the CDs, we would have people come and say, can we get 3 or 4 of those CDs? I was really confused by that. I wasn't sure if there was a hot market for it in eBay or what have you. We hand them out in the education building typically at the State Fair, and I learned that it was teachers who wanted them and that we were making it too difficult for the teachers. So we are in the process. We're about 4 to 6 weeks away from relaunching our website that will have a teachers resources section. And in that section, you can go in and download all the segments that they want to use, like MN90, Minnesota History in 90 Seconds, and the 1862 Dakota War, both a hour-long documentary as well as 5-minute little segments. So we do have one additional station that is eligible for funding this year. So last year, there were 17 stations and Amherst itself that were eligible. KRPR in Rochester is now also eligible. They were asked to sit out for the last biennium for a variety of reasons, but they do qualify now. Despite that addition, we are not asking for any additional funding. We are asking to stay flat from the previous biennium at $1.6 million per year. The reason we are not asking any more, we realize that there are more handouts, there are more arts organizations out there, and we have come to realize that our method that we had been using of equally distributing it to all stations needed to be revisited, and there were some stations that didn't necessarily have the resources to utilize all of them, and other stations needed more. We could certainly ask for more and spend the money, but we've decided to keep it simple and keep it flat. So, Mr. Chair, with the goal of trying to keep this it's short, my apologies. Keeping this short, I will wrap up and make myself available should there be any questions.
Anybody have any questions? Must be getting late, getting fewer questions all the time. We appreciate your testimony. You have any you want to close with?
No, I guess I would just like to say that I think this is a good investment for the Legacy Fund. I think it's a great way for a little bit of money to leverage lots and engage hundreds of thousands of listeners across the state. So I would just renew my motion, Mr. Chair, to...
lay it over for possible inclusion.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, very well. Thank you. Next is Representative Thiessen.
Can I just stay here?
You can go ahead and, yeah, you're going to, I'll testify at home by yourself. Go for it.
Yeah, I'm going to be testifiers. All right.
Can't
Thank
wait
you.
to hear. Nice,
So,
relaxed atmosphere.
That's right. Well, I'll just move 1737 to be laid over.
Very well.
Thanks. So, well, this,
You have an amendment, A1.
oh, and I'd like to offer the A1 amendment, yeah, if I could, which just kind of puts it in order, if we could do that.
Very well. You want to tell us about your amendment?
It just adds some new language to, if we could put that on, and then I can describe the whole thing, if that's all right?
That's very well.
All right.
You got it the way you want it now.
Yeah, we got to vote, though.
Okay, we want to vote. All in favor of the A1 amendment, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair and members, this, this bill really comes, out of some thinking I've been doing over the last, several months about Minnesota and what's going on in large parts of the state. And we hear at this committee a lot of really, really great institutions that come in and are doing great work across the state. But one of the things that strikes me is we could get a lot more out of our institutions, especially at the local level, if they're actually working together and trying to, first of all, talk, and then kind of move forward on a community basis as opposed to just individual institution by institution. So the idea behind the bill is just to create a grant program, and it's for communities, it says third and fourth class, so it's communities under 20,000 in the state of Minnesota. And it would have them, have people come together, as well as urban neighborhoods, which are broken out in the various cities. And it would basically have groups come together to come up with a community proposal, which would do two things. One would try to focus on what's unique about the heritage of that community. What has made that community where it is, why it is, what drew the people there. And then use that as a basis for kind of thinking about what their future is going to be together. I mean, it just seems to me one of the things that we're seeing in a lot of, especially smaller towns across Minnesota, is that the institutions are disappearing. And once those institutions start to disappear, the fabric of the community starts to disappear. So this is an effort really to try to, to boost that up. And I think that it would be an investment worth our while. I will just share one story and then we can be done. But I was in, this is several years ago, probably 8 years ago, in Hoffman, Minnesota, which is up by Alexandria. And there was, yeah, it is, right. And it is, and I met with a woman there who I think worked for the city, but she had done this amazing work. It was one of the, it was kind of Main Street, it was a lot of empty storefronts, people leaving town. One of their major employers had left, and she was very frightened about it. And so she got the community together, went out and kind of met with all of the businesses, but also kind of all the local community institutions, pulled people together and put into that storefront a couple of empty storefronts. I mean, one of the things was a business that kind of, it was a space where very small micro businesses could come in, and that wouldn't be how we would use this money. But, so there would be one person at the front that was a cash register, and then, different people around the community could, and I think there were 6 or 7 that set up their shop in this storefront to try to boost, the local economy. But then alongside that, they had a community space that was used for a lot of their local people to come together. The library, which was kind of losing its space, and I can't remember even what all the rest of them were, but had created this amazing place that kind of really re-strengthened the community and revitalized the community and brought people to start talking together. And so that has kind of been sticking in my mind for a long time. So that's about as formed as this is, and it would be up to the Humanities Center to kind of flesh it out. One thing that did strike me when the Humanities Center presented a couple weeks ago is they brought this chart in, and I can't remember what community it was, but it was like a circular chart that had around the edges all of they were kind of an inventory of all the different people that worked in a particular town, institutions in a particular town, and had lines connecting how they were connected. Which I thought was a very powerful way of thinking about, how our communities work. And so that's kind of what was added in the amendment, to give preference to proposals that identify and strengthen those relationships among community institutions. But that is essentially the idea, I guess, and I'll answer questions if people have it.
Kind of reminds me a little bit of the Somali Museum and the Swedish Institute we saw tonight.
Right.
Two cultures that are learning to get along together. Representative Wagenius.
You said Hoffman, Minnesota.
Yeah.
I'm very familiar with it, and Merrill Klusmark, who...
That's who it is, yeah.
Yeah, who did all the work. Yeah. What's interesting about this town is not all, but a lot of the other little towns around it are struggling, and this one is economically doing a lot better. It's about 3 miles from our farm, that's why I know where it is. But we have other places that are 3 miles in a different direction and not doing as well. And I always thought that was, there was something there that not only was community-oriented, but it was economic development.
Yeah, that's exactly who it is, so.
Great. Any other questions? With that, Representative Thiessen.
I'll renew my motion.
Very well. All in favor? Go ahead and do that. We're laying it over, aren't we? Very good presentation.
Brevity points.
21 towns.
Got lots of. Our last bill is Representative Erdahl.
And
Some of them are thriving and some of them aren't.
Let's see. It's been first, it's been last, and it's been
I mean,
moved on.
that's the key
Yep.
key here.
Leadership.
yes, the handicap bill.
This is the community, I'll tell Paul this, where farmers are coming to retire, which is interesting. You know, so some of the housing is being
You
built.
need people that have money.
Well, they do. They have these nice little houses.
We got 5 people. Gold stars rolling. Yeah, we're doing real well here. Oh.
Welcome to your committee.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
What's wrong with the guy on the right? He doesn't have any tools.
I don't know.
I'll give him one of
Yeah,
mine.
yeah.
It's gotta be, there's one show off everywhere.
I would move House File 1766 to be laid over for possible inclusion in the omnibus bill.
Very well. Go ahead and make your testimony.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is funding for the Science Museum of Minnesota. And rather than get into it at all, I'll just let them start off and tell you what they need the money for.
Thank you.
Give your name for the record, please.
Sure, thank you. Mr. Chair, my name is, over here. I'll move on over. So my name is Allison Brown. It is my honor and pleasure to be with you here this evening. I'm the 16th President and CEO of the Science Museum of Minnesota, and I am not on the crutches because of DeCraw. I just want to let you know that right now, although it's exciting to see the work that they do as they're hitting that little ball around. So prior to joining the Science Museum of Minnesota almost a year ago, this coming May, I served for 17 years at the California Academy of Sciences in San Francisco in Golden Gate Park, where I worked as the chief of staff and prior to that, the CFO of the Academy. So I grew up in California, but I have spent a winter prior to this one in St. Paul, and it was a much colder winter than the one that we are currently experiencing. And I want to say that my current and past family have many ties to this state. My father's family settled in St. James and in Butterfield in the late 1880s, and my great-grandfather was first mayor of St. James in around 1910. So my grandparents met at Carleton College in the 1920s, and my sister and many relatives attended Carleton College, and lots of relatives have gone to Macalester, Augsburg College, University of Minnesota, and my sister-in-law lives in Minneapolis with her 2 kids. She went to Macalester College. I have many other relatives here, nieces who teach at universities, run small businesses, cousins who've been in local politics. So throughout the years, I've taken my sister-in-law's children to the Science Museum and know it well as a visitor. I am honored and excited to be here to run this beloved institution, one of the most visited indoor attractions and museums in our state. And in 2017, with your support, we celebrated our 110th anniversary. And I look forward to celebrating another 100 years with you. As the colored map indicates, it's in your packet, we are a statewide asset and reach all corners of Minnesota with our mission to turn on the science, inspire learning, inform policy, and improve lives. Since our founding in 1907, the Science Museum of Minnesota has grown from a scientific literary society to one of Minnesota's leading cultural attractions and educational resources for teachers and students and visitors. We reached 385,000 students through it last year. We provide teacher professional development through classrooms, school administrators, and the program's mission is really to increase STEM, which is science, technology, engineering, and math literacy, eliminate disparities in math and science, and help every student succeed in STEM and prepare for success in STEM careers. So we are a very powerful state. We have a very vibrant and productive economy, and STEM is key ingredient of growing our industries, including agriculture. Almost everything that we do in our lives, in our careers, requires some level of STEM. STEM is literacy and expertise is needed to keep pace with continuously evolving technologies throughout all parts of the state. The Science Museum actually has a national profile, as well as being a statewide asset. We design exhibits that are in museums all around the state. We work with national networks. Last year, we received a $14.5 million grant from NASA to help bring their science throughout the state. And a recent national survey showed that the Science Museum is 6th nationally in the percent of visitors who rate their guest experience as excellent. But we're here today to talk to you about the legacy dollars and give you a very brief overview financially about the institution. We're asking for your consideration of our $1.3 million for this coming biennium. Our current appropriation is $1.2 million. So we're asking for consideration of an 8.3% increase. Funding will support 2 projects through this biennium. Our statewide school initiative, which I've talked a little bit about, and our Race, Are We So Different exhibit. And I'll talk about both of these very briefly, because I know we're the last ones talking to you this evening. Our overall fiscal year budget is $38.3 million. Total state resources represent about 6% of our budget. That from the legacy funding is about 1.5% of our budget. This is an extremely important part of a budget, though, because this allows us to really have this statewide reach throughout all 87 counties within our state of Minnesota. We provide fun, interactive, and stimulating informal STEM, again, science, technology, engineering, and math, I'll just use STEM going forward, education. Last year, the Support for Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund of the Legacy Amendment generously enabled us to serve our school audiences. We reached students in all the counties. We also provided funding and support for our teachers, which we know they enjoyed, and we had 181,000 participants through these programs. So while we reached 385 students through all of our programs, 181,000 of those are through this particular funding. We also provide teacher professional development training on-site throughout the state. Last year also provided funding through the Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund in our Indian Collections exhibition called We Move and We Stay, which is a beautiful exhibit which you should come and visit, we hope, in the museum itself. Yes, includes the Whipple exhibit, and it's just a fantastic collection, which we've been working on for probably 30 to 45 years, and you can see it beautifully displayed within the museum. So part of this $1.3 million request, again, is for the statewide school initiative, and that is $862,000, or about 2/3 of our funding request. It will allow us to serve all 87 counties, foster new and expanded collaborative relationships with our schools, develop next generation of innovative STEM programs, and allow delivering programming for our schools. We play an important and relevant part of education community by providing opportunities for students and school partners to experience excitement, interest, and motivation to learn about science. It's important to keep that motivation going. We develop a positive but self-identify as a science learner. We participate in excellent Minnesota standards aligned and informal STEM education. We access high-quality resources for use in the classroom. And we access professional development for teachers and administrators. And the other piece that I mentioned was our exhibit, Race, Are We So Different? We developed that exhibit 10 years ago, and 2 years ago, it brought it back into our museum itself. It's an award-winning exhibit that has traveled to 50 cities. So a third of this funding is to update the exhibit and develop 3 smaller exhibits that we would then have out throughout the state. And these would be community-based exhibits that we would place within libraries, with other institutions, and we would partner in helping have them placed where they'd be most effective. So along with those exhibits, we will also develop curriculum resources and materials for teachers, visitors, and citizens about the themes in the race exhibit, which we currently have some developed that we do here on site in our St. Paul location. So last year, with your support, in summary, we reached all 87 Minnesota counties. We had 181,000 participants in these programs that you help fund. We provide unique, fun learning experience for students. And we know that these are great because we have a set of professionals in-house that help us assess how effective these programs are. Your funds are ensured to have meaningful and effective engagement with Minnesota teachers through multiple channels. In fact, we know that we reach 11,000 teachers every week through our resources online as well as on-site. And we use your funds wisely, and we match them with our own private funds, with funds from donors, and with our funds from our diversified resources through earned income. So thank you for your past support and continued support from the Legacy Amendments Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund, and for the priorities that we put forth for you for FY 18-19. This is critical funds for us to make certain that we have the broad reach that we think is critical for the state to keep it being a vibrant state. It's an important part of our educational system, and we love working with our teachers and our students, and we are proud for what we deliver to our state. And with that, I am through and would love to answer any questions that you have for me. And thank you for your support.
Representative Lilly.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you for bringing this, Representative Erdahl. As a parent, one of my proudest things is my son's a chemistry student at the U for a PhD student, and the first membership that I've known him ever to buy was to the Science Museum. So he's a Darwin member, and I didn't tell him to do it or anything, but it's pretty neat. So I do have a real quick question. Did we not fund the Omni Theater through Legacy dollars a couple of years ago, and then I just happened to see the space, so I just wondering how that's all, and that's an Omni Theater show. I was just wondering how that worked out and if that went well and if everything's up and running, and it looked like it was.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Representative. Yes, there was funding through for the Omni Theater, and that is proceeding well. And we thank you for that support as well. It is a critical asset and one we know that is very popular with our members. And I don't know if there are any specific details you want to give about that one?
I'm John Severson.
Forgot to introduce you. Sorry, John.
Director of Corporate and Government Relations with the Science Museum. That project is working apace. We did have some delays due to our building issue. So we are contracting with the IMAX Corporation to develop for the cutting-edge technology. So Minnesota will be the home of the beta site for this. We do expect that project to be completed this fall. So we have the investment that we made with legacy dollars was for the technology. That work has been done, and we are working right now to with IMAX as they develop the lenses and complete the project, and then we will be finalizing that in the fall once now that the phase work on the Omni exterior is completed.
Representative Lilly.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you for that. Hopefully, we can have a conversation with the Capital Investment Chair, and he can fix your roof.
Yeah, yes. Thank you, we appreciate that. And it's OmniFest right now, if you want to come see all the shows that are out.
Representative Easton, you have a question?
I know it.
Looks like the questions are done.
Coming out early.
Last question, Representative Earl, you got anything to say?
No, just thank you.
Thank you, yes.
I went to the Science Museum when I was 10 years old. It was a whole different building. I got a rubber dinosaur. All I remember. But thank you for this. I'd like to renew my motion that House File 1766 be for possible inclusion in the omnibus bill.
Very well.
And I was going to say, if any of these 6 people want to rate the presentations, those have seen them all, of course, it might, if they have bonding requests, it might affect that.
Very well. With that, anybody else have anything to say? Saying that we are adjourned.